So as I think you just heard from our American colleague, the Council's just had a private consultations on the situation in Sudan, where we are all very concerned about the potential escalation and build-up of military forces around El Fasher. The Council was united in the conversation and in our statement over the weekend about our concern about the possibility of an escalation there and the imminent risk of a threat to the hundreds of thousands of people in El Fasher who are sheltering, many of whom have come from other IDP camps. As you know, the last thing that Sudan needs is a further escalation on top of this conflict that's been going on for a whole year. The Council is concerned about the humanitarian crisis, it's concerned about the scale of the famine risk, and it's concerned about the displacement of people. And we've heard in particular how troubling the problem of humanitarian access is, given the barriers imposed by both sides to the conflict on humanitarian aid. So what we need to do, what we need to see, and what we've been clear on, is we need to see an de-escalation, we need to see humanitarian access, and we need to see both sides returning to the political talks in Jeddah.
Ambassador, concern is probably the most overused word in the United Nations when it comes to resolving geopolitics. Concern doesn't really go a long way in putting pressure on parties to act differently. What was the point of this meeting? What did the Council decide to do moving forward beyond the statement that expressed concern?
Well, I mean, what you saw over the weekend was a very clear statement, collective statement of unity from the Council, with very clear messages to the parties in this conflict. We agreed amongst ourselves that we will continue to do that, and those who have influence on the parties must send those very clear messages that there must be no escalation and de-escalation is necessary.
Mr. Ambassador, but if nothing happens, I mean, we heard also the U.S. Ambassador, he says, if those 3 points, if they don't, they escalate. If they don't, but actually they go ahead, don't you think this is start to look very much as was the situation years ago in Liberia, in Monrovia, and only the intervention of the United States and the order of President Bush to stop those army saved thousands of lives. So do you think, this is, I understand it's a question that maybe should have been for the US ambassador, but do you think that if they are not listening the Security Council, somebody will have to save those people trapped in the city?
Well, I think what you need is a united international message. It's not about one country or two countries, it's about sending united messages and each country using the leverage it has with the parties to encourage them, to press them, to urge them to de-escalate. Thank you.
Mr. Ambassador, the United